Okay, so now we're on to the second part on page 20 in our note packet in section 2.3, and we're going to be talking about slope. So the slope between 2 points. Okay, so this should be a review for us. So let's just remind ourselves what slope actually is. So the slope is the ratio between the change in y values and x values. And you might remember it as rise compared to the run. Okay, so do you remember the slope formula? The slope m, that we refer to it because it will show up that way in our linear equations later on, between 2 points x1, y1, and x2, y2 is the following. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so now let's just talk about specific types of slopes. So the first specific slope is an undefined slope. So an undefined slope is is the slope of a vertical line. So if we take a look at the graph of a vertical line and discuss, well, why is it an undefined slope? Well, looking at a vertical line, okay, if we're discussing our slope, our rise is huge, all right? We're going up, 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 up forever. So we have a huge rise. And how much are we running? Well, we're not going anywhere. We're stuck on our line. We can't go left or right. So our run is 0. And anytime we have a 0 in our denominator, it's undefined. Okay, so having a 0 in the denominator is what makes this slope undefined. So therefore, we have an undefined slope. Okay, so then the other type of special slope is a 0 slope, and that deals with, or that is the slope of a horizontal line. So quickly looking at a graph of a horizontal line, and why is it a 0 slope? We can look at this guy here. So now we've got a horizontal line. And if we're looking at the slope, this time our rise, well, we're stuck on this line. We can't go up, we can't go down from it. So our rise is 0. And our run this time is a very big number. We can continue going to the right, we continue going to the left. It's a huge number. So whenever we have 0 in our numerator and some number in our denominator, this goes to 0, hence the 0 slope. Okay, so now let's just get some practice really quickly finding the slope of a line that passes through some points. So let's look at this example 4 here. Find the slope of the line that passes through 1, -3, and 3, 5. So using that slope formula, m is equal to y2, so in this case 5, minus y1, which is -3. And what we can notice right away is minus a negative is going to go to a plus, over x2, which in this case is 3, minus x1 is 1. And now we just clean this up. So we have 8 in our numerator, 2 in our denominator, and 8 over 2 simplifies to 4. Okay, so the slope of this line is 4. Now let's go ahead and go on to example 5, finding the slope of the line pictured. So if we take a look over here, we should first identify some points. So this point up here looks like it's at -1, 4, and the slope down here looks like it's at the point 1, -1. Okay, so finding the slope between these 2 points, our slope m is equal to y2, we can say it's 4, minus y1, which is -1, and again, minus a negative goes to plus right away, all over -1 minus 1, and now we just clean it up. 4 plus 1 is 5, -1 minus 1 is -2, and -5/2 does not simplify any, so our slope is -5/2. Okay. All right, now let's look at example 6. Find the value of r so that the line that passes through the pair of points has the given slope. Well, looking at our formula, we know our slope is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So now all we have to do is make a substitution. So instead of m, we've got 1/2. So 1/2 equals, instead of y2, we have an r. r minus y1, which is 1, all over x2, which is 5, minus x1, which is 8, and we can clean this up. So 1/2 is equal to r minus 1 over -3. Okay, so we've got ourselves a proportion essentially. So we should remember from geometry last year, how do we solve proportions? Well, we cross multiply. So we set the products of these numbers equal to one another. So what we should get is -3 times 1 is equal to 2 times the quantity r minus 1. It's important to use parentheses here so we remember to distribute this 2 on inside. So cleaning up the left side, we get -3. Distributing the 2, we get 2r minus 2. And now we go ahead and we solve. So if we add 2 to both sides, we'll get -1 on the left equals 2r. Dividing everything by 2, we will get r to be -1 over 2. So there's our final answer. Okay. All right, so now I want you to stop the video and try example 7 on your own, following along what we did in example 6. So this time, find the value of r so that the line passes through the pair of points has the given slope. So we have the point 8, -2, r -6, and our slope is -4. Okay, give it a try and see how you do. All right, hopefully you were able to follow along and get an answer of r equals 9. If you have any questions, make sure you ask your teacher tomorrow in class. Okay, sorry about all the confusion with the 2 videos. Have a good night.